Hey guys, Tony from here from my point of view. Welcome to my home. Welcome to Camelot. Let me give you guys a tour. So as we approach down the driveway, we have our crescent with Paris, water laurel and other plants with our stone ornaments that light up in the dark. To the right of me you also see the fence that I've recently panelled over the top of the mesh, and we've put artisan solar lamps that we've got from winning garden competitions, and we've also put boxes on the castle walls around the side. So let me take you around to the front where you see the arch, or should I say drawbridge, if this was a real castle, with the Victorian lamps again where we won on a garden competition. And we have our footpath down to the, or should I say, drawbridge. And we come down to the front window where we have our artificial pond now. It used to be a pond with a rubbing pump that came down from the top where the windmill is and the water mill. And it also has a lighthouse which also lights up in the dark time, which if I can get a chance to do, I will do a video at night time and show you that actually working. But we have our little mill in the corner which has lost its fishing rod sadly over the years. I am going to try and build him a new one. We have our ducks and our little kingfisher in the corner, and our other fisherman with his pipe in the corner. We have a little otter sat on the rock in the centre over there as well, and we have our other water mill at the bottom, or flour mill if you want to pronounce that. We take you up the top. We have our ornamental village with its own little centrepiece in the middle, or your information tour guide. It's actually based on a village, or we tried to recreate a village in Devon that has its own little tourist centre in the bottom. We have a ruined castle there, and then again we have a windmill and our big giant heathers. Yes, Heather, Pixel Gamer Girl's namesake, a plant named Heather. We have our tall perises. So I'm going to take you back round, and we'll head round to the back garden. So up to the back of the steps, continuing our theme of the artisan lamps and our fence. And we also have made a moat right down the side of the garden. But leading to our bin area, which I've also built with artisan lights on there as well. We have our front shed, which used to be a metal drawdown shed, which I rebuilt the front with brown timber lats and put green fronting on. So down the back step we have our hydrangeas and cotoneasters. These plants actually change colour in the soil, so sometimes depending on the weather they'll come out blue, they'll come out pink, they'll come out purple. It doesn't always follow the same colour every year. And as you can see, because of the weather we've had recently, the wet and the dry, it's made some of the soil alkaline and neutral, so it's come out pink, it's come out purple, and it's come out white. But there is our cotoneaster on the front of the kitchen where our resident blackbirds live. Well, blackbirds and songthrush. He's a very naughty little blackbird. I saved him 7 years ago from being drowned in this plant, because this plant hadn't got it had a patch and it didn't have a branch that I could put over top of him, so I actually brought a cloth around and actually put it across so it didn't get drowned or, killed by the rain. And ever since, he has followed me to work and back. He's like my pet. If anyone can have a pet blackbird, but he literally, every morning he will sit on the front fence where I showed you, and he will squawk. And he will wait while it's time for me to go out to work. He knows it's time to go to work. He will come and sit there and will squawk. Come on, it's time to go. And as soon as I get in the car, he will follow us. He follows me everywhere. You may have seen videos on my channel of the songthrushes and blackbirds I've had this year, and also Ozzy that was also, he clambered across this arch with the pear in his mouth. So we have resident squirrels, we also have a fox, and we do have an owl. We've not actually physically seen it yet, but we have actually seen it fly over, and it is leaving feathers and bits and pieces around the garden. But there's the Cotoneasters in bloom with the berries, which the blackbirds are pretty much already. We haven't even got full into winter yet, or out of summer yet, and we stripped it. But there's me solar owls that light up in the dark, and also tulips, which don't work anymore. They are bound to be replaced at some point. We have our magnolia, comma, and then we have our castellated wall, which we recently painted up. If you wish to see what the state the light they were in before, I'll just take you over the wall, and you can just see what they're like before. Then we have our big taller than me, because I'm 6'2", cherry tree. And we have our ornamental crabapple tree. And then here we have a recreation of what my mum used to have, what I never met my granddad, my namesake, Norman Anthony Day. My mum used to have a table my granddad made with 2 moles, 2 squirrels and a mushroom playing cards. Now we haven't, it is a little bit weathered when we first put it in. We haven't got round to painting the cards on and fully finishing that off, which we will at some point. But that's a recreation of what my granddad used to make. Then we have Bubble, my guinea pig that passed away when I was younger. It's a good number of years, I can't remember how many years ago it is now, but a good while ago. We have a bird bath next to the ornamental crabapple. Then we have, I'll take you back forward to the entrance, our orchard. We have a pear tree. And we have, well, my sister's no longer here, not deceased, but she no longer lives here, should I say. That's a rabbit bramble that passed away before Bubble, and they were both more or less bought at the same time. They're both friends. Not that people can put rabbits and guinea pigs together, but these two actually did get along. Well, Bubble would be annoying sometimes, squawking, and Bramble would kick the cage and tell you, "Shut up, leave me alone in peace." They were fun when they were around. Then we have our apple tree. Then we have a cherry tree. We had another apple tree that sadly got disease, it had to be taken out there. We have our ornamental Rugosa roses down the side, hydrangeas, more Cotoneasters, geraniums, spotted laurels, and another bird bath there. And the garage, I'm eventually going to build a breeze block wall up the back of it and make the garage straight, level, because it actually, when you walk from the front to the back, you have to duck because it dips. It's on a slant, and I'm slightly taller than, so I can only stand at the front. When I have to go to the back, I have to slightly duck. And you can see it is, since we had the quake a couple of years ago, and the general age of the garage has been here before we lived here in 1991, it's slightly started to crumble in places, so the garage is slightly going to need some repair maintenance, mainly by myself, because my mum and dad aren't going to be around forever, sadly. They are in the 60s. So we have another pear tree to my left. We have willow that used to be an arch, but we've now shaped into a bush because this particular section kept rotting, so instead of keep replacing the arches, we've left the arch out. So then we have another apple tree in the corner. Then we go into the next bed, taking around the corner towards the back of the garage. We have quince, and then we have our legendary wizard Merlin, which we will be slowly doing the videos of painting him up on the channel at some point. Then we have our beech trees. Ignore the mushrooms, they need to be taken out. That's fungi that's forming the garden that shouldn't be here. Taking around to the garden, we have Pendragon. Again, he will also be painted up on the channel at some point. And we take you around to the walkway. Again, we've just repainted our walls, so it's different from before. We've got our sensor solar light front lamps. And again, I will remember, I love green garden raffles, they're fun. I get a lot of stuff for free. More hydrangeas, polyanthus and blackthorn, and some more heathers around the side. Some more Paris and Acaresia in the boxes. Then we have our blackthorn, again, that never filled out, so some of the plants, didn't take, so we had to cut some of the blackthorn out, so it didn't form a full bush like we intended originally. So we had to put a fence behind, which I did show Volgirl and some of my other friends when I put it up. That was plain white yellowish timber, a bit like the fence there, because this was put in at the same time. And as you can see, it is now weathered rather nicely, gone rather green in coloured. We've got another hydrangea at the back of my garden. That used to be, this is my garden now, it used to be my sister's. So we have another hydrangea in my garden, which has gone pink. My bird ornaments on the post with the two Victorian lamps and the solar sensor float lamp in the corner, which I am going to put one in that corner eventually to match. It's all going to be the same. So I might be moving some of the lamps down the bottom because some of the twin spots don't really charge up properly down the bottom on the arch where the living room is, so I might be moving them to singles and putting the twin ones from there up here rather than having to buy new ones, unless I win them. Then we've got my stone owl and my two squirrels, and if you can just see in the corner my hedgehog that has slightly got covered up by my rose at the moment, that's decided to go wild and go all the way across the corner. There we go, my other Acaresia and I can't remember what it's called now. Oh, yeah, both Acaresias. That's a different variety. So you can see there's a holly bush in each corner as well. So I'll take you around here. You'll see my big tall cherry tree, which was actually put in. I was jealous of the tree that used to be there, because that tree, rowan tree that used to be there, used to be a cherry tree, but my neighbour decided to be uncouth, should I say, and decided to take that tree out and take a bit of his land, which we have worked an agreement out and let him have it as long as he helps us with bits and pieces. So when we need help, he's pretty amenable. But that was just planted as a off a seed and basically didn't think he could take off. I was rather jealous of having the cherry tree, so that kind of has sprung up and sprouted, and it gets taller and taller than me every year. That's why we have a neighbour now to come and help us cut that down, because it really gets too tall for even me to climb up. I mean, I need a climbing rope or a rock climbing gear to climb up that thing. It is massive. It doesn't touch the power lines, so that's good news. But yeah, the cherry tree used to be there. It has been replaced with a rowan tree. But we'll take you around to here. We will be painting or trying to put swords onto it. This is our round table. It's not a round table that would have up to seats, because we'll bring the seats out if you want to sit out in the garden and have a garden barbecue or whatever around this area. But then we have a rhododendron bed at the corner. There's the other hydrangea, the red one. We'll take you around before I think we come to the centre. That is the rowan tree that marked my granddad, Alan Bay. In the middle, then we have more blackthorn bushes, different variety than that one, round the side. That is to simulate King Arthur's tomb, because as you may have noticed, my dad's big on Arthurian legends, so because of the house it has castellations on, the whole house and the garden, everything has been based on Arthurian legends. So that's why you got Pendragon, King Arthur's horse, Merlin, and so on. But around here is Memorial Garden, the back of the corner. We've got Pete's Rose, Jason's Rose, and funny enough, they actually are named after my friends that are passed. So these are to honour my friends. So that's Pete's Rose, Jason's, and the recent one is Anna's, which has come out very, very nice in a really take you in closer, cute colour, blossom red. And then we've got one that honours my dad's friend Andy, that got in a road traffic accident in 2002. And then we have our, oh, of course, the solar spots in the corner, sorry. Then we have our what used to be a coal frame, that we've turned it into an area for the compost bins we put around the back. The garage window, instead of replacing it with proper glass, we've put in timber frame, blocked it up with green bits of timber, which means a touch up now. The glue's set, so it's not meant to show the whiteness. Most put some metal ladybugs, a butterfly in the centre, and metal bumblebees. We have our own water bud, so when the rain comes down, it fills it with water, so there's no, if we've got a water shortage, we can't use a hose pipe. We're always not short of water, because we recycle what comes into the water bud. This actually, where you see all the little, like I said, the metal, the chipstone wall is going to be breeze blocked all the way around to the side as well. So I'm going to literally rebuild the back and the side to the other side that we already built previously, just to reinforce this side of the shed, but never actually took it in, redoing the entire shed. I'm going to take the asbestos roof off and put proper roofing on, because technically, I don't know how we get away with it, but it is illegal because it's asbestos. So I am going to take that off and put some proper roofing on and put some proper beams, because the beams inside, whoever had this shed before, has actually the makepiece timber timber lats, and it's not a full beam, it's like 2 beams joined together. So I'm going to redo the entire roof properly, breeze block the wall when I can afford to do it, breeze block the side wall, and make this garage completely level, that you can walk from the front to the back without having to duck, but it's the same height. And also plaster up the inside. Well, I've got proper lighting, but I'm actually going to put real proper floodlighting in there, make that into a proper workshop, because eventually I want to do wood projects and build different pieces, because I have made my own furniture for the bedroom, which I will demonstrate when I do the bedroom tour, because the bedroom still needs to be finished. The stream room has never been finished. It still wants, well, it's been wanting for a long time, the plaster putting on the ceiling and coat of paint. But of course, with the Wilkinsons going under now, I've been forced now, I can't get the continued paint to redo it. So now I've got to redesign the entire bedroom, so it's going to get another revamp and hopefully finished. But we have decided to go with Timu instead of paint. There is some vinyl, special vinyl wallpaper that goes on ceilings that looks like clouds, so it'll like proper like that on the top of the bedroom. And also there's some one that's like an artisan brick type, which I'm going to put on the wall, and also soundproof the wall as well, because if people have noticed over the years when I've been streaming on the channel, a lot of the time I can't have the mic on, because there's certain times when I'm allowed to stream. My parents are in bed, so I don't really want to wake my parents up, so I have sometimes when I've joined other channels on stream or stream my own streams, I have to have the microphone off. So with it being soundproofed, I will be able to, you know, do whatever as long as I want without affecting other people, as long as I don't make myself tired and make my whole health bad. For like being late, you know, tired for work. So if I take you back round this corner to tie the video off, you will see, if I can, sorry, it's this one, sorry. You can actually see we've had a songthrush nest in the top of the acacia tree that's got a bit tall over the years. And that's an apple tree as well that's over the archway. Well, the pièce de résistance of the garden, as many of you know, our Arthurian legend, we have Excalibur, the sword. Pull the sword out the stone, and in actual fact, you can actually pull the sword out the stone. So, that wraps it up, guys. I hope that has given you the tour. Oh yes, there's also the letters have worn off, but it actually does spell from the top to the bottom, Camelot, down the steps. So, that wraps it up, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tour of Camelot, and I will see you on the next and last multimedia video, guys, and live stream.